congrats on the win.
Thank you.
I might just start by asking, after such a strange game, what are the kind of main things you can take away from it?
There's plenty that we can take away from it. Obviously, there's not many times that we've played a test match, an international match against 12 players. But there's plenty we can take away from it. I suppose at the start of the game, getting off to a good start and going up 7 points is a nice enough start. And then I thought we started to overplay a little bit, and I thought Italy defended really well, and they was aggressive in defence, and that was before they went down to 13 men, and certainly aggressive at the breakdown, etc. And I thought we, because of our lack of accuracy and obviously the tenaciousness in defence, I thought there was a few errors that we could have tidied up before the situation happened to 13 men, and then we get to that point of 13 men. Look, it is just weird. I mean, we understand why the rule was brought in, but at the same time, I suppose in situations like that, occasions like that, it'll bring the rule back to everyone's attention, and they'll look at it from my point of view, from what we all saw, uncontested scrums, and rightly so. Italy was trying to slow the game down. It's what everyone would have done. You don't take, when you've got uncontested scrums, for so long within the game, everyone's legs are nice and fresh, and it's the reason why Italy were tenacious in defence throughout, even when they went to 12 men. So it's just weird. There's the space that you think's there, and they're obviously always going to throw caution to the wind and kamikaze style defence at times, where they were flying up off the line and hitting us man and ball and put our skills under pressure, and we needed to be calmer, more accurate. I think in the second half there, we hit a few more front doors rather than throwing it out the back, and got some quick ball ourselves and managed to get some much needed points in the end.
And Peter, did it take a little time to actually adjust to playing against 13? Because obviously it's just something you're probably not that used to do.
Yeah, it probably did, and it shouldn't. There was a lot of waiting around, obviously, with regard to what the ruling was and that kind of thing, and just the whole stop-startiness of the whole kind of 20 minutes that surrounded it. But I think we need to be better on the pitch at negotiating a way around what the opposition are presenting with us.
Cheers, guys. Thanks.
Hello, can you hear me, Andy? Okay.
Yeah, got you.
This first question is for Pete. Just kind of having played that game in 2013 over in Rome, where I think you were left on the wing at one stage and you were playing with 13 men. There's an element of ruthlessness, isn't there, that you kind of need, when you're up against a team that are, as unfortunate as it was, you need to be ruthless, isn't it? Was that a talk you had to the lads out there on the pitch?
Yeah, well, look, we want to be ruthless, but black and white, we weren't, certainly in the last 20 minutes of the first half, and for parts of the second half, we weren't. We weren't accurate, and we should have made life a lot more difficult for a team that were down to 13, 12 players at one stage. So you want to be ruthless, but at times our accuracy let us down.
And Andy, what would you have said to the lads? Because I know it was kind of stop-start at the end of the first half, but once you kind of got going in the second half, you at least did rack up the kind of 57 points. What did you say to the lads at half time about taking advantage of the numerical advantage?
Just to have more composure on the ball, really, just to be calmer a little bit. We, as I said, they were sprinting out the line because they had nothing to lose, and to the next guy who was under so much pressure at times, and it took us a while just to calm down and see the game for what it is. And we thought there was space everywhere, and we was making poor decisions on the back of that. And look, we're talking about us, but at the end of the day, saying to the players that 57-6, we'd have certainly took that before the game. It takes us into it puts us in a good position now as far as the points difference is concerned, and obviously on to the next two matches that we need to win to be in contention of winning a competition.
Perfect. And just the last one for me is just about a guy who's probably going to be pushing to be involved now in this game in a couple of weeks against England. James Lowe had a very good game, didn't he? Well,
look, he's not played much at all since November, so it's been a little bit stop-start for him. But he played a quarter of a game the other night, and it's good for him to get a full game under his belt, and that's why we did that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi Andy.
How's it
going? It was a big day for Mike Lowry. How did you feel he went at fullback?
Oh yeah, he was great. He was lively, and he was as brave as we knew he was going to be. I think getting the two tries and then being in space to score his third and then passing it on to his mate James Lowe in the corner typifies what Mike is all about. So everyone involved in the squad, the management and the players are absolutely made up for Mikey and his mum and his sister and his girlfriend. It's a big day for them.
What did you make of England's performance against Wales, and what are you going to have to get right over the next couple of weeks to win over there?
Well, we know that they're going to come hard off the line at us, and Italy came hard off the line at us at times today, and we weren't composed enough, so we need to be a little bit more accurate there. We know that they like to kick the ball for territory a lot, the same as what they've done in the past couple of seasons. I thought they were good. I thought in the first half they were very dominant as far as territory is concerned. They kept the scoreboard ticking over, obviously, and thoroughly deserved the half-time lead. And I suppose, like us, there'll be plenty for them to ponder on in the next coming weeks, the same as ourselves.
And Peter, can I just ask you about Mike as well? How's he fitted into the camp?
Yeah, look, he's a top man. I've obviously been playing against him. You see how brave and how tough he is. Some of the impacts that he takes is phenomenal, and he just seems to bounce up off the ground every time. And as Faz said, look, he's come in the last few weeks and he's fitted in seamlessly. He's been incredibly diligent with his work, getting up to speed of what he needed to do. And I thought that play summed him up, passing that ball there. He had 10 times out of 10 he'd have the gas to get in the corner there, but he passes the ball to Lowy just to make it 1,000%. That kind of sums him up from all of us, really. He's just a good guy.
Thanks very much.
Hi Andy, how are things?
Good, thanks.
Could I just ask you about injuries? Thanks, sorry, there's it later. Could I just ask you about injuries? Did Andrew Porter pick up something there, and Robbie Hench, I think, was a HIA, was it?
Yeah, Robbie's going through the protocols, but he looks fine in the dressing room, so we expect that to take its course. And Andrew Porter was nursing a bit of an ankle strain. He went over on his ankle slightly, but he was well enough, or would have been able to carry on. But we thought to get him off at that stage.
Thanks.
Anything further, guys?
Andy, Josh was player of the match, another award. How happy are you with his form and his continued improvement?
Well, he's very consistent at the minute, isn't he, of playing at a very high standard, and he sums Josh up when he comes into the change room after the game, and he was turned over in the game there, and that's the only thing that he could think about, of whether he needed to keep his feet under him a little bit more, and he did that pretty well throughout, didn't he, keeping his feet going and driving on there. So Look, he's coming on a treat, isn't he? At this level, he's very consistent, and that's what he wants to be.